Welcome back to the Wonder Tag podcast. This time with a new and improved intro. Super cool. Gives me some nostalgia with all the old cards. Huge shout out to Lindsay for putting that intro together for us. I think we've got her animation studio pulled up here. Planet Studio, I believe. Planet.
Yeah, Planet Super Studio. Shout out to Lindsay from Portland. She put it together after Milwaukee as a little thank you gift to us. So I really appreciate it, and hopefully you guys enjoy the intro that will be on there. So shout out to her and her Planet Super Studios. I just pulled up here. It's very cool, actually. Got a lot of the works pulled up. So if you'd like to take a look through the entire page, we'll leave all that information in the description as well. So again, shout out to the studio for doing that.
Yeah, and seeing some of the behind the scenes stuff was pretty cool. It was stop motion animation, right? With the cards and the Tapu Lele figurine, I guess. And it's kind of cool seeing some of the pictures and then the final product.
Yeah, it was very cool. We had to like ship out like one of those little like dolls from Japan for the stop motion, and then did some of the supporters from the Tapu Lele era. We picked out some of like the best Sun and Moon era supporters. It was super cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed that.
Wait, what? What fraction of our viewers do you think know those cards, like Guzma and Lily and Cynthia and whatnot?
I think you underestimate how popular GLC is, because
Oh, okay, true.
any GLC player knows like all of those cards just from playing GLC. So I think over 70%.
Okay, let us know,
like a
guys.
gracious number? I feel like that's
No, I think that might be reasonable. But let us know in the comments section down below, guys. Do you know these Sun Moon supporters, or do they come on the screen and you're like, yo, what are those old cards? Let us know. I'm curious.
like when Prime Catcher came out, you're like, oh, it's just Guzma on an item.
I feel like everyone was saying that. Even if you didn't know Guzma, you probably heard someone say, oh, it's just Guzma. And then you're like, oh, what's Guzma? Let me Google that.
Yeah, no, I think that a good chunk of people will know. I played GLC one time. I feel like the main point to playing GLC is actually just to make a bling deck with all the bling cards you own from the last 15 years. So you get to all your full.
Oh, your deck would be crazy.
My deck would be crazy.
Busted all the trainers.
Actually, I don't know who would be super crazy because I never got any of like the tag team. Like Guzma Hala, I think is like a staple in a lot of those decks, and you end up having like the. I guess I may be missing like some of the like Welder if I wanted to play like that normal deck or the fire. And I'm not up to date on the GLC meta to say the least, but I always see like the pictures on the timeline where it's just like 15 full art supporters and 15 gold items.
Bro, you're not caught up on the meta. You're a fraudulent professional Pokemon player, man. Come on, lock in.
I would play a GLC if they put CP events for it. I think it would be cool to have some sort of expanded format.
I would play it. Oh, yo, GLC regionals? That'd be so sick.
GLC, I don't know about.
Is the format not that good?
I mean, it's like fine, but it's very unbalanced. Like some types are just better than other types, right? Like some of the types are literally don't exist. Like Fairy doesn't exist, but you can still play Fairy.
Yeah, there's like no cards for it.
You get That's some funny. Like Fairy control stuff. You can play Doll Stall, I think.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right, but speaking of metas, I think you had a good meta read in EUIC where you top aided. We somehow got a few minutes into this episode without mentioning that you top aided yet another tournament, EUIC. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
Yeah, what do you have to say on the pod?
It was unexpected. I almost didn't play. I played Charizard Noctowl, and I almost didn't play the deck because I kind of like I still like the regular Charizard more than I like the Charizard Noctowl, but it kind of just it felt like it was time to make a little bit of a swap. And then the week before, so Santiago and Sydney, which like obviously they're like smaller regions, but looking at like the trends of players, there is something like 23% watchtower in day 2 of Santiago and 17% watchtower in day 1 of Sydney. And yeah, I was like, and Dragon Ball play rate was like 17-18%. Like I knew it'd be 17-18%. It was actually higher than I thought. I think it was like 18. And I was like, is this really the tournament to play Charizard Noctowl? And I was like, no, I'm just gonna play it because the deck's sick. And it worked out.
I thought the
Yeah.
Sob inclusion was really cool. We played some games before the tournament. I was playing Pult and you were playing Zard. And it was scary because you get something Sob trapped and then a bunch of Dusknoirs blown up on you. Was that clutch for you?
Um, yes, but not against I hit one Pult. And I hit one Pult, and it was like a Pult Zard with Watchtower, which granted I think Pult Zard with Watchtower is probably harder than Pult Noir, but I use Sob in other games more than I used it. Like I did win a game against Pulsar because of Sob. I sobbed a Fez and then I sobbed a Halucha and they didn't play Turo, so it's pretty good there. But I had like a game against Miraidon and I like got my only Charmander amped and then I just like sobbed their Mew EX and it was like super sick. They like prime catchered out and took 2 prizes and I just like sobbed their Mew again. And they had to use their Magnetons to set up their hands. So I ended up taking a 5 prize turn. I like sobbed the Mew 3 times, and then I Briared and Dusknoired the Mew, and then I took 3 prizes on a hands. It was pretty dirty. That's
so cool.
That was sick. But the main spot that I came up was just like torrential pumping against Grim. Like you would get like some games I high rolled and then just like kind of hit like a turn 2 torrential pump. But I had a few games where you like slam an energy or 2 on the Wellspring on Infernal Rain, maybe manually attach to it on the bench. And then suddenly on like turn 4, you just hit them with like a Prime Catcher quick search for water. And you just like torrential pump for 2. It was very, very good to just like kill off like Monkey Frostlass in the mid-game. So I quite enjoyed that. But I don't know. I mean, like I think I got very fortunate with my matchups. I think I drew pretty smooth. I don't know if I'll ever expect to hit 1 Watchtower in a 14 round tournament either. Like I need to look at the actual like Watchtower usage rate for EUIC. But after that, like I sent a message to our chat and I said like put the over under on Watchtowers, and literally every single person took the over on Watchtowers.
Yep, and I took the over.
Yeah, everyone took the over, and luckily I only managed to hit the 1 Watchtower in that Dragapult game. It's like I hit 1 Dragapult and I hit 1 Watchtower, and it was both in the same round. I managed to beat that round. So
that's pretty good.
I had a really, really good day. And the deck just felt like it was very smooth. Like I was very thrilled with the fact that I got to play the game almost every time. I only had a few games where I genuinely was bricking for more than like 1 or 2 turns, which is really good for a Fan Rotom deck because I would have like games where I like would whiff Fan Rotom and still somehow have playability, which doesn't happen very often. I feel like if you whiff Fan Rotom, then in general you're like kind of cooked. So, I mean, I'm probably never going to get a better opportunity to win a tournament, and it's a shame that I kind of tossed my top 8 game, but I'm like happy with the run I had.
Do you want to go through the whole run?
I put it on the screen. My one loss was Crustle. I hit a Crustle round 2, and let me tell you, I wasn't thrilled to hit Crustle. Normally when you play Charizard, you have a Chi-Yu in your deck. But this deck doesn't play a Chi-Yu, and I ran into like the version of Crustle that doesn't bench anything that gives you free prizes. It's just like
no monkeys. Oh my god, 4 ice creams, dude.
It was like some straight ridiculousness. And taking the first prize on like a Dwebble wasn't even that good because bro would just like whip out a reversal energy and start swinging. So
what does our Charmeleon do? Does it do something relevant?
Just 40 times 2.
Yeah, we get 80.
It does 80.
I mean, that's 1 ice cream. That's good.
I know. It was like really bad. And one of the 2 games I kind of just tossed. Like I'm not gonna lie. When you like play this deck for the first time and all you've done is play online reps with it, you're looking at like the cards in person, and it's a whole lot harder to do your sequencing compared to just looking at the screen on live. Like everything is like so nicely put for you on live. When I gotta do my fan call decisions and all that, I've like physically holding the cards. Like I was like, there's a lot of mental effort comparatively. So I think messed up my fan call in one of the 2 games. I needed to get Ditto, and I didn't leave myself a spot to get Ditto. Like I popped into it, I was like, oh, I need to get a Duskull down. And I like looked at my fan call, I was like, this is fine. I'm gonna get Pidgey, Hoot Hoot, Noctowl, everything is lit. And I was like, wait. And after I grabbed the Duskull, I was like, wait, I need to get Ditto on this fan call. And so I just like lost the game on my turn one fan call. And that
Oh, she
was
needed a Terra.
because I got the Terra. Like I got the Terra and I just like didn't get out a Noctowl. I mean, I could have like gotten a Noctowl. What I would like probably should have done is just like skipped out on the Pidgey and then gotten a Noctowl and then maybe tried to get like turn 3 got or something like that, or turn 4 got. But I just like completely botched it and then lost a game on the spot. And then my second game, I mean, this matchup's like horrible anyways, so who knows if I would have won a game 3, but my opponent had a pretty slow start game 2. And then I was kind of taking advantage by just killing off Dwebbles, and I prized my Dusknoir and my Charmeleon, and they were my last 2 prize cards.
Oh my god.
We did not get there, like, at all. I was like,
you're never killing a Crustle.
Dude, I was like sitting there on like Dusclops, Duskull, with like candy in hand and like taking prizes. Nothing. It's just nothing. And then I
can go like Dusknoir plus Fan Rotom attack. No, that doesn't kill it if it has Cape, right?
Well, yeah, the math for you is like Dusknoir, Dusclops, Fan Rotom gets you to 250, or Fan Rotom once into Dusknoir, Fan Rotom to take 2, which it's honestly still not that good when they're playing 4 reversal energies, because like normally Crustle struggles to set up a second Crustle, but this guy just like had reversals on deck, and I was just getting like cooked.
Oh no.
And then there was like a spot where I like almost won the game too, because I owned him into the mud, and he like had like a 2-card hand. He just like Arvin for Pokevital and healed off like 2 assault landings off the guy.
Then kills your Fan Rotom.
Yeah. No, it was bad. And he's playing 4 Myths. I didn't even know he's playing 4 Myths, so I can never joust the Luckscape either.
Really that's bad. Actually, I mean, there's also 3 Luckscapes.
Yeah.
This is excessive.
Well, it was really good against me. And the guy was like, said he was just like kind of there for fun. He still like did pretty good. He like went 4-2-2. He beat, dude, imagine being Alakazam running and walking into 4 Mist Energy Crustle.
Oh my gosh. Wait, Tom Hellcamp. That guy, how do I know his name?
I mean, he's from the US. I'm sure he's like done something.
I think I maybe played against him at Las Vegas, and he was also playing Alakazam.
Oh, maybe. No, I think you're right. I think you did play.
Am I right?
Him. No, I actually that rings a bell. Let me like pull him up. Oh, yeah, round 2.
Yep, I played against him round 2. Yeah, so yeah, I remember that guy. No, he was cool. Oh, poor guy, just running into the 4 Mist Energy at EUIC. Oh no.
Yeah, he's been devoted to this too. Oh my god, he's got the Alakazam EX as well. That's not gonna cut it, unfortunately. He's got the.
This is wild, bro. This was when I played against him. It was a much more standard list. But
he's got the Giacomo Clefairy.
Is this my deck for my next YouTube video?
Is this your deck for your next LDF money match?
Yo, true. Oh my gosh, we got to make that happen.
Yeah,
this deck is sick.
This is pretty cool. I actually, there's another guy, Carl Blake. He was on stream. Do you know that guy?
Nope.
Let me see if I can find. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of Alakazams in day 2. I can't. Why can't I find this guy? Okay. Well, anyways, there's this guy. I'll search up his name. But he's been playing the deck for like a while. Oh, here we go. Oh my gosh, yeah, because the 512 filters on, and he went like he dropped that day 2.
I guess.
I'm kind of confused about that, but that's besides the point. He was on stream, I believe, and was playing the Clefairy package as well. So I mean, I guess the Dragapult players they gotta worry about running into this like Clefairy now.
Is that even good? Like, let's just kill them with Alakazam, right? I don't know.
Well, I mean, you're not going to kill them with Alakazam because they're Slam and Ionos, but no, this is not good.
Okay, and 3 Wonders patch. Interesting.
A lot of patches. Okay, so that's.
Anyways, let's go back to the run.
Super off topic. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. So I mean, otherwise, I hit 3 Grims. Round 3, 7, and 9. And honestly, so I like picked up this deck, And then I like went to locals and I played against a Neil, and I like misplayed against a Neil and lost. I was like, maybe the Grim matchup's not that bad. I tested the Grim matchup a decent amount, and this Grim matchup is free. Matchup is
It
so
is
good.
good, eh?
It's so good. They the problem for them is that they play one rare candy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why, but all these Grim lists they play one rare candy now. Actually, a Neil is playing two candies. Shout out to Neil. Two rare candies is normal behavior. Like one rare candy, I think is fine if you're not expecting to hit a ton of Dengo. So it's like probably pretty reasonable if your meta doesn't have a ton of Dengos. But Charizard also exploits it pretty heavily because if they Evo double Frostlass, then they just cannot really candy a Grim very effectively. And if they go Morgrim Frostlass, you can just kill the only Frostlass. So generally, both game like my games would go like they'll either try to Badoo me and just like cheese me, but it didn't work because I would just slow evolve into Pidgeotto and Charmeleon, and they're just not gonna have Frostlasses in play. Or they would try to Evo, and depending on their Evo, it was super exploitable either way. If they went double Frostlass, then I would just like kill the monkey that they Evoed with, and then they'd have double Frostlass set up with no monkeys with dark energies. And then their board was just super, super fragile. Or if they went for Frostlass Morgrim, then I would just kill the Frostlass immediately with Prime Catcher,
Yeah.
and then they had like nothing. And my Duskulls were completely safe on the bench. And if I remember correctly, I'll like take a look at them. I don't think any of them played Psyduck, which is pretty nice for me because like
Yeah.
I play
that's huge.
Klefki, but it's kind of hard to use it. Okay. Oh, this guy did play the duck, but he didn't get it down fast enough. Like what happens when your deck plays two Poffins?
No, literally, and you gotta get Snorunt, you gotta get Impidimp, you gotta get monkeys.
I get so many. Finn didn't either. So actually, Finn was like a super super nice guy, but for some reason he like believed that the only way he could win the matchup was just to Badoo me and hope that I bricked. And like he did get me one game with it where he just went like Iono Itchy Pollen. I was like, this cannot possibly be the best way for us to play the matchup because he just like was like consigned to Badooing me and me bricking, or like I'd cry if I, or like he'd cry if I didn't brick.
If you were set up.
So even he like chose
I mean,
to go, he chose to go second as well, which I think is. I think you just go first against Charizard in general.
I think so too. Yeah, I think like even with Guardy, I'm going first. Just
Yeah,
makes Frilishing on turn 2 easier.
That's like one of the best decks to go first. But even a deck like this, where there's basically no reason to go first almost ever with this deck, I think you're just going first for the extra attachment, for the chance of evoing, or to like naturally evolving into Frostlass. Because
Yeah,
if you can get
then you can
Frostlass
go double
and
Frostlass. Well, that too.
Yeah, I think one of the big advantages actually is so you can try to Badoo with a Frostlass in play. Because that's the whole problem with Badoo in this deck. You just cannot actually use Badoo effectively unless you have Frostlass in play. But it is impossible to set up Frostlass if you Badoo. That will change when we get Pokepad, but at least for now, is very true.
Absolutely. You need, when you're stalling, with Badoo, with Frillish, in whatever deck, you got to be building to something. You got to be doing something with the time you're stalling. So if you don't have a Frostlass, well, you're just doing 10 damage a turn and letting your opponent set up. So
I actually, my game round 3, he had a board of like Frostlass, Morgrim, Badoo, Monkey. So he was like Badooing me with double Frostlass in play, but I had no abilities on my board. So he was like sending over 30 and then like Badooing for 10 for like 3 turns or 4 turns or something. And eventually his monkey just like died from Frostlass.
Oh my god.
Because I think he like benched the monkey and then whiffed a dark for 1 turn. So the monkey started with like 40 on it. And then it kind of like it went by for like 4 turns or something, or like whatever the amount of turns is, where it was like essentially just like taking 10 every round. And on top of that, he like made a Grimmsnarl. So the Grimmsnarl is just taking 40 between turns every turn because he couldn't heal the Grim and heal the monkey. So I just sat there going like draw pass with a dead hand, and eventually I just like killed Grim, killed monkey, and I was suddenly on 2 prizes because I like had went boss assault landing a monkey on like turn 2 or turn 3 or something. So I think the Badoo's like kind of hard to fit on your board because you want to have double monkey set up as well, but you don't want to give up. You don't really want to give up your only Grim piece either, but you kind of have to give up your only Grim piece to Badoo.
Go like double Frostlass, double monkey, Badu, one
Yeah, like more
more
grim.
Grim.
Yeah, you don't
Make
even
it
really want it to
Grim.
be a Grim Snarl. Yeah, you don't
No.
want to take the
If they
dark side of
kill
your
it,
deck.
whatever. You just play like Badu Frostlast Monkey if your guy dies.
It's harder though when you have to like steer down a Wellspring as well.
Yeah.
That's one of the things
You
that was
also get
nice.
sobbed.
Yes, that's one of the things about like my list being unknown is like no one knew what my A spec was or if I played Crispin in my deck. I, like had
Mm-hmm.
a Wellspring in my deck, but it was mostly bait for like torrential pump purposes. But they wouldn't like know if there was like a Crispin torrential pump threat, right? So your opponents kind of have to like guess whether there's an actual threat, um, which is kind of nice. Like I don't know, maybe I should play Crispin for Seattle so people aren't respecting the
People
torrential
think
pump,
you won't play the Crispin. Yes,
right?
yes. It's a cool mind game. And definitely your opponent's wasting some mental power on, playing around Torrential Pump. And maybe even more than just wasting mental power, they make a play that defends from Torrential Pump, but makes them worse overall. And then you're
Yeah.
benefiting from that.
Yeah, that's the nice part about just having like the small package. You don't really commit any deck space or lose any other aspects of your deck. But you just have the Wellspring in there. Like it's just one Wellspring, one water. So
Mhm.
it felt like the perfect level of a package.
Do you think like some energy that's not water would have been like a luminous energy would be better than water? Or do we
I
need to
actually
super audit?
I had this conversation. So like Farkas, shout out Endgame Man. Uh he played the Luminous Energy and like something very similar to this to Toronto.
Mhm.
And my logic was if I play Luminous, my opponents do not have to respect a Crispin. That was mostly the
Mhm.
logic.
That's true.
Luminous, like if your opponents knew for certainty that you weren't playing Crispin, the Luminous would probably be better because it's just another fire. So
Yeah, if you need it
it,
to be.
I wonder if it's worth it for me to play Luminous just because I now people will probably know I don't play Crispin. Maybe I'll think about that. That could
Yeah,
be.
something small but interesting to think about.
Yeah, you just give me like an extra fire. Like you do have fire problems.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate that. Although if I run into like the E hammers with
Oh, that's true.
if I you know how like in seniors Pulsards are like all playing E hammers right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you run into that and get your Luminous E hammered, it's probably feels pretty bad.
Oh yeah. 100% does. Oh, hold up. I need a cut. Okay, sorry about that. Turns out that my apartment had a water valve break, so we can no longer use water for the time being.
Good thing we're a fire type trainer and we enjoy Charizard.
We gotta cut the wellspring now. It's shocked.
Cut the wellspring, no more water, guys.
A bad
That's
omen.
funny.
I where were we at? I know I'm.
We were talking about the Luminous, but I think we were kind of towards the end of that discussion, and then I think we
Yeah,
moved on to something.
we'll just go back to the run.
Yeah,
The
let's
luminous
do that.
is well, we'll figure out the. Well, I probably won't play the luminous. The water energy just looks cool.
Yeah, you got the gold one, or you got what do you got? You got
I've
the
been using the Call of Legends ones actually. I have all the Call of Legends for the fires, and then I had like a place. Um, I played against two Dengos. Neither of them played Watchtower, which was sick. Uh, Shout out Josh Frink for making Watchtower a whole thing. Dengo, but it's very scary when I pair into a Dengo with Secret Box because I'm like seeing them rip Secret Box, and I'm like kind of shaking, seeing if they grab.
Mhm.
I'm just shaking, seeing if they grab a Watchtower. So Haruto, I played it on the feature match. He didn't draw fantastic, and I kind of just drew properly. So the game was like we had two non-game. I feel like that is kind of the matchup. The game's kind of over on turn two a lot. You just like, kind of see if they get
Yeah,
the response to get. If they like take the first prize, then take two prizes, the game's over. Don't and like pretty non-interactive. And then against Econ, um, I can't remember exactly like if there was anything interesting. Oh yeah, he had to like evolve. He had to like put Genesect down and then just like evolve into. Evolving's fine. Putting Genesect down is not fine. So I like kind of won one of the games on the back of Genesect being on the board, and then
Mhm.
the other game was actually like he played really well. For them, I think there's like maybe like one. He said he made like one error at the end that was like small for his like odds of hitting. He needed to hit like superior boss to win superior. But he like opened Gimme Ghoul, and I opened like the turn one fan Rotom kill, but he attached the Bravery Charm. He opened the Bravery Charm on his Gimme Ghoul, so I was like very sad because I thought I
Mhm.
was just gonna win for free. Um, and he just like dropped the charm, and it was actually like a very close game. But he had like a really awkward opening where he had to like I think he like lunar cycled, then he had to superior for fighting the cycle, so he's down a superior, which meant at the end of the game he just had one in his deck as opposed went from like basically guaranteed to win the game to a spot where I maybe had like 40% equity to win, and he just whiffed like superior bot. Kind of sneak one out where he got like the first knockout into like the guy's knockout.
Nice.
Um, yeah, I don't. The rest of my like day one was kind of non-interesting. I played against the Kangaskhan Buffalon that played Crustals, and like that was kind of scary. Um, I like forgot that grass energy in Kang Boof means crustal and not iron leaves. So I like used Dusknoir Dusclops to blow up his Kangaskhan and just left him with nothing. I was like, oh, I just win for free. And he like bench Dwebble and Ascensioned into a Crustal, which is like actually pretty scary. Um, but I kind of like got one for free because I was able to kill one of his two Bufalons, and then he like pennied up the other Bufalon and made a lone Crustal board, and I was like, oh, I'm screwed. But then he dropped Psyduck, and he let me win for free because I just prime captured the Psyduck and then like fired on this.
Sick. Take two.
Yeah, so I like would have lost that game if he didn't bench the Psyduck, but he benched the Psyduck, so I was able to kind of sneak one out, which was not too troubling. The Pulsar, Ben was a really fantastic opponent. He's also well, didn't play like the same 60, but he played like something similar that Oscar had posted with that crew. Um, but he played like a different idea that Oscar's working on with like a Dusknoir line. I actually talked to Oscar a little bit about this idea
Oh
of like
wow.
Pulsar with a Dusknoir line. It's actually really
Mhm.
cool because you I don't know if I'd like agree with the setup of not having Arven in the deck, but like the really thick candy line is kind of cool because you do just kind of into Zard naturally like really often. Um, but anyways, like he's playing Pulsar Watchtower, which is kind of scary. But luckily for me, um, he just like did not find the Watchtower in game three. So like game three was a really quick game, kind of like both were we got like to the punch very quickly on both sides, so he just didn't draw enough cards to hit the Watchtower. And then I was able to kind of like set up a board state where um I was on two and he was on three, and I had like a Duskull on my bench, or I think I had like two Duskulls on my bench. So it was a spot where, or no, I think it was one Duskull on the bench, but it was a spot where if he like killed the Duskull, I had Prime Catcher Briar, and then if he didn't kill the Duskull, then I just won the game. Um, Duskull X Briar.
Dusknoir. Yeah.
I like set up a pseudo checkmate there, like right before time was called in game three. So it was a fun set.
When you're playing against decks with Watchtower and you know they have Watchtower, are you working to hold Stadium in hand? Is that something you prioritize or no? Because Iono exists. How do you manage that?
It like depends on if they play heavy counts of disruption, right? So it's kind of hard for you to make Dragapult not have hand disruption. You can
Yeah.
kind of make Gardevoir not have hand disruption if you spam kill the Fez, right? If you kill the
Yes.
Fez every turn and they don't really like have the agency to rebench the Fez, then they might whiff disruption on turn. So then holding a stadium against Guardy, if you know they're playing it, is pretty good. But no, like against Pult, like they're just gonna drop the Watchtower and hand disrupt you. So I'm not really too concerned with sacrificing any because usually the trade-off is grab like second area zero or get a piece onto your board. I'd rather just get the piece onto my board because I
Yeah.
expect the disruption to hit. But against a deck like Dengo, like I'll grab my second area. If I have like a if I have like a spare Jewel Seeker, like I'll just rip it and just get like area. Because even if they do play like this like Watchtower Iono combo, like I swear like the people are not hitting like Watchtower Iono like kill Charizard.
They have to start the turn. Okay,
Right.
I think they basically have to start the turn with the secret box. And
Yeah.
then but then it's like weird because we're secret boxing and then Ionoing away the item. So we can't get superior.
You get countercatcher. You can countercatcher the Pidgeot, or like countercatcher, like I guess you like countercatcher hit the Fez. But the problem with countercatcher hit the Fez on that line is normally your opponent's on 3 and you're on 4. So if your opponent just like makes a Dusknoir, then the game's over. You have to kill the Charizard there.
Yes.
And I don't think that you can really hit. I don't really think you can kill the Charizard. I think you can kill the Fez relatively easy. It's not super hard to draw into like SER 2 energies. To kill a Charizard, I think, is incredibly tough off an Iono. Especially if you're Ionoing yourself at this point, probably to 4. I don't know. Anyways,
you need to like the stars need to align, and you gotta like have Fez, and you gotta have everything.
Yeah, I think in general, you just slam the Watchtower on turn 1 and hopefully it sticks. I think that's like probably your best bet. That works. I think
pretty good odds.
I think it works about 50% of the time. Like they'll have about. I looked at the odds, and they'll have one of their 2 Watchtowers in their opening hand. Or sorry, one of their 2 area zeros in their opening hand about 30% after you draw for turn. And then on the following turn, if you like drop Watchtower after second draw for turn, like let's say they go first and they kind of do their fan call, and then you drop the Watchtower, take a kill, then they get draw for turn Fez, so they see 4 more cards. So I think that they're like about 40%, maybe like 43, 45% to have area 0 in their hand after all of those card draws. So I think you're favored to like have the Watchtower stick for it. Now it's still possible that they like find a combination of Candy Zard and they just kill you and you don't have the response. But it seems pretty good if you can block them from the Secret.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. As opposed to trying to play for this Iono line where like maybe you get there, but maybe you don't.
Yeah, I think that's like probably the best way to implement the Watchtower. But I don't know. At least from my like player psychology, I'm like a whole lot more afraid of my opponent ripping Watchtower early in the game than I am of like mid game Watchtower against aggro deck that has to give me Pheasant Dip. I like significantly less threatening in my opinion.
Yeah, they're not like trapping things in the active and not knocking things out and Watchtower. Like Absol can kind of do that. Guardy can kind of do that. Dango can't really do that.
That's why I forget like Guardy and for Absol, it's like probably better not to slam Watchtower turn 1.
Yeah.
Because your opponent can, like in theory, function without abilities for a little bit longer in those matchups as well, because there's less pressure early.
And then they get like insane, like countercatcher the Fez, Iono, Watchtower, hit it with Absol, discard a card, Fez is stuck in the active, like so bad.
If you drop it early as like a Guardy or an Absol and they just Blazing Destruction it as well, it's like pretty bad.
Yeah, they don't actually. Yeah, they can definitely afford to take the turn off and just Blazing Destruction. That's a good point.
So my 2 Guardy games were mostly uneventful. I kind of just got set up under item lock, and like we played 2-game series in both. One of the 2 games went like they kind of didn't item lock me, and then I board wiped like Gardevoir Curlia immediately, and they just lost.
Raps.
And the other game was me like they would go threaten Frillish or whatever. They would go first, threaten Frillish with an attachment on the active, and then on my turn I would just fan call for Pidgeotto and Co. I get item locked and then just like slow make Charmeleon, Pidgeotto, and like Dawn and like Jewel Seeker for Dawn area 0 and just Dawn for the Charmeleon. And then grab area 0 and get second Charmander down with the extra bench spot from area. And suddenly I make a board of like Pidgeotto, Charmeleon, second Charmander to avoid the Screamtail, and it leaves them in a pretty awkward spot where their best move is just to like Screamtail the Pidgeotto. But it feels kind of bad since if the opponent just like Noctowls for like boss, you just lose your Guardy. And even worse, if they have like if they have like one piece in their hand, they might be able to just go like Dawn, Prime Catcher, Candy, Dusknoir, and just wipe your entire board.
The Candy Dusknoir is like raps.
Yeah. And
did any of them try to just Frillish Infinite? Like I usually just keep Frillishing even once Pidgeot gets made and just like kill the Duskulls and like spam Frillish and then Devo eventually.
I don't know, man. This like wasn't feasible because their Guardy was just like dead. Their Guardy was just dead so fast.
You're like turn 3 Zard Pidgeot boss or whatever. Like,
because the thing about the thing about the guys that I played against is neither of them played a pivot. Like it was no
not playing Balloon.
No Balloon, no Latias. They were more like these double charm lists.
Mhm.
So Juan did not play a pivot. Something pretty reminiscent of like what that world's list of Jelly Guardy that what's it called, like Henry played was, but with lilies instead of researches, of course. Then um the on this top 512 filter on so it doesn't crash the website. Julio played like this
The
hybrid of like the
Luxcape.
Luxcape build with 8 psychics.
Oh, with Jelly also.
Yeah, with Jelly as well. So like they're both like technically Jelly Guardies, but it didn't feel like they were Jelly Guardies. It felt like they were literally just like the Chow Guardy, where
Yeah.
they could like maybe get into a Frillish if they kind of high rolled the open and then item lock me, but they didn't have any of like the Jellicent stuff that actually makes the matchup hard.
Yeah.
So no Watchtower, no Latias, no Air Balloon. Julio didn't even have a Diva. And lucky like this was a ASIM as well, so I got the open
You
deck list, so
knew.
I knew there was no Devo. So if my opponent bumps my stadium, my Noctiles are going to the discard pile. I don't need to keep a Noctile in case they try to Devo.
Yes, true.
Which is nice.
I
So
did win a game like that in Toronto. I was playing Jelly Guardy. My opponent was playing Zard. I bumped the area 0. He discards all of his Noctowls. I just go like Iono, Devo the Pidgeot, and the Zard. You just like draw passes and the game's over.
yeah, that's correct. That is exactly what will happen.
Yeah, yeah.
I did have 2 games against like Grim where they would like bump my stadium and I like kept a Noctowl, but I prized the candy. So like me keeping the Noctowl on the board was like trying to de-incentivize the Devo. And I could still
Little
rip the
bluff.
Devo. Yeah, like they still devoted me. I like only have one
Oh,
candy left in my deck. So like I'll like evolve into Pidgeotto and candy.
oh no. No,
So
it's good
it got like a
enough.
little bit awkward. It was like really close actually. One of like the Grim games I almost like lost where they like shadow bulleted my Wellspring and I had to like draw pass because I had like torrential pumped and they devoted it. Um
Hmm.
and then I think I like candied and I think I torrential pumped after I candied the Zard. I think I like, couldn't really like afford to Burning Darkness on that turn because I was pretty far behind in the trade. So I went for like a pretty greedy torrential pump evolve into Pidgeotto. And then I had Pidgeot in hand. And then I got Ionoed after that and I had like Pidgeotto on the board just drew. I didn't draw very well off the Iono for a turn, but he whiffed Monkey Dark to close out the game. So he had like a 5 prize play lined up with like kill Trapagos, kill Wellspring, kill like Fan Rotom or something,
Right.
or I think it was like kill Fez. But anyways, he like whiffed the Monkey Dark, so I was able to like kind of like sit there for another turn because he passed. He doesn't want to like kill my. I think maybe he did kill my Wellspring, but anyways, like he was like in a spot where he like needed me not to find it, just like actually
Yeah.
couldn't make any progress without me just like playing into a Charizard for game. Have the dark energy. Yeah, my Guardian games were like whatever. Kind of just I feel like that is for the most part the matchup. You kind of win for free a lot if you don't get item locked, and if you get item locked, you sweat really hard.
Still win. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you sweat a little harder
You
because
still win
you might
sometimes,
get
but
you might get like Screamtail high rolled by Candy Guardy after you might like get Ionoed into the ditch and then like lose lots.
yeah.
If you play the game, like I think you basically always win.
When you make Pidgeot, I think that's like the real like turning point of the game. It's just making a Pidgeot, even under item lock. It's pretty good.
I love Pidgeot.
What kind of Pidgeots do you play with? Do you have like the Altar ones?
Yeah, of
I
course.
low-key don't like that one.
Okay, it's actually not like a super nice altar, but I think the full
Yeah.
arts are also kind of like what like
I
okay.
like the one that's gold. It's from I don't know what set it's
Eldan,
from.
Eldan Fates.
Yeah, 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 that one.
That one is nice actually. That might be a nicer artwork than the alt art, but it's kind of hard to justify that one when you already got the Pidgey from OBF and
It's the
the
matching
Pidgeotto
set.
and the Pidgeotto. I used the free retreat Pidgeotto in this one, so it wasn't matching. But like the 90 HP Pidgeotto matches with the OBF alt arts. And if I don't have like the alt art highest rarity ones, I got Blake Ray in my comment section just like roasting me.
Dude, you're a changed man. You're playing the optimal Pidgeotto instead of just playing the one that looks cool. I'm
No,
pretty
bro.
sure that's what you said after Milwaukee.
Oh, bro. And you only make this Pidgeotto if you get item locked, so it's more relevant to have the free retreat because you're not making the 80 HP Pidgeotto against Dengo where they can Soul Rock Vitality Band.
Mm. Okay,
You
okay.
have to think about these things.
I feel like we were just coping, and now we're like, all right, we should play the optimal one. No,
No.
no, no. It's highly logical. All right, highly logical.
Dude, it is logical. I'm not having any of this. I don't know about like the rest of my round is kind of whatever. I mean, like, so I hit Jericho, who was playing Bolt, and I lost the coin flips, which is kind of scary. Like you're playing
Mhm.
against Prime Catcher, Wellspring, the coin flip, and might get torrential pumped off the board. And I definitely got a little fortunate to win the second game. So the game one was really nice because I opened 80 HP Charmander and I pivoted into Pidgey. So I was able to make a board of Pidgey,
Oh, call for
Hoot Hoot,
family.
Hoot Hoot, yeah, Charmander, Fanrodom. And then he like killed my Pidgey because I donned for a Pidgeot on turn one. And like
Mhm.
lucky for me, that was the wrong kill. Like, he needed to kill off or sorry, my board. I think I had a spot for I think I had a Terra on my board. I think he like needed to kill my only Hoot Hoot. I think I only had one Hoot Hoot on the board. But like I like dawned for a candy and like definitely read like I was like holding candy Pidgeot based on my so he just like killed my Pidgey. And then I was like sitting on Candy Zard Noctowl, and then I just like prime captured his pawn and won the trade.
Yeah,
Which
you
is
take the
nice.
first two.
Yeah.
As long as you can keep making Zards. You have to make 3 Zards though from there, right? Which is like kind of hard. Or
It's like
Terapagos can get in
yeah,
there.
Terapagos can get in there, which is a pretty big deal. And you can technically win the game at 2 Zards if you Briar on 3 to 4. But that's like
Right, just like pop a Clops to activate Briar.
yeah, I was there, but he benched like he's playing Psyduck. Like kind of crazy. Oh,
Oh yeah, I
like
didn't notice that actually. What the heck?
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that because he just like dropped a duck. Like my Klefki is like super fake if I'm not playing against Absol. Against Absol, that card is great because you have enough time to use it. Like I'm not activating my Dusknoirs against Raging Bolt if they drop a duck. I do not have the time for
No.
that. Especially with my Prime Catcher being gone. And then the second game he opened like the Wellspring Ditto thing and then was threatening Torrential Pump, but I got into my own Ditto and I went to Ghost. And he prized his Prime Catcher, so he couldn't take
Sick.
like turn two Torrential Pump both my Hoot Hoots or both my Charmander. I was able to just get like turn two Unified Beatdown, kill the Wellspring, and is like pretty much game over from there. So yeah, two pretty simple games. Just kind of had to I had to get like the high level call for family involved. If I didn't call for family, my board was just done. But call for family in that game one was really nice. Shout out 80 HP Charmander for retreat. And yeah, my stream game was a nightmare. Game 3 was a nightmare. Games 1 and 2, I think I like played pretty good. Game 1, I kind of just like jammed the Klefki, got him with the Klefki. He opened like raw trolley, but it didn't matter because the rest of his hand sucked. The rest of their hand usually sucks. Like they can't really do anything without Kangaskhan. Even if
Yeah.
they open like Arven Energy and they energize, they can't really pivot into the Absol very aggressively anyways, unless they opened like energy
Boss.
turbo energize boss or something like that. They need to have a lot of energies. They need to have 2 energies and they need to have Arven and they need to have boss. It's like not super likely for them to have all of these cards. So game 1 we got him. Game 2 I kind of just got like Iona Watchtowered into the bin. He got a DPL for a Lively Stadium. I don't know if you saw that. He like
I did see that.
yeah, I probably should
It
have
didn't matter.
caught
And
that.
then
It was bad for me.
no.
It was bad for me, man. I wanted that kill. I'm sitting on Nestball for Fez.
Yes.
I was like
When
licking
I
my
was watching
chops.
it,
The
you were getting
Terapagos.
cooked.
Well, yeah, but the Charizard or the Kangaskhan had damage on it because I swung with Terapagos. So if he gave me Fez and I found Candy Zard, I was just gonna kill his Kangaskhan and take 3. And my position looked pretty good if I made a Charizard. He like didn't have to take that knockout, so I couldn't Fez for that turn. And then he just like healed 60 more with Monkey, and then like pennied his Kangaskhan. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
this kind of sucks. This is like really
It
bad
was
for me
cooked.
now. Yeah. So that game was kind of a wash, and then game 3, I just cooked myself honestly. So like Donsard doesn't discard cards. You play one Ultra Ball in your deck. It's like Ultra Ball. I open my Ultra Ball, and Ultra Ball away my Dusknoir turn 1, and for some reason that moment just completely disappeared out of my mind that it occurred. So I like never checked my discard pile for whatever reason during this game because I was just like I was so zoned out. The white noise was killing me, and I just didn't check my discard pile for my Dusknoir. And I just like looked at my deck at some point. I was like, oh, my Dusknoir's not in there. Like I thought I had my Dusknoir, and I was like, oh, I guess my Dusknoir's prized.
Hmm.
So I just like went that entire game thinking that I didn't have a Dusknoir in my deck, which like was obviously my winning line. Like I was gonna be able to just like kill his charmed Boufflant with like Unified Beatdown, Dusknoir, or Charizard, Dusknoir, like Jet the Klefki at some point, or if he kills my Zard, I just push the Klefki and then Jet up Terapagos after. Um, and I like win for free basically. I would have still had to like it would have been in like an interesting line where you could have just like spam boss my Klefki and it could have gotten pretty annoying since I needed to get back like Klefki and Dusknoir at that point for me to succeed on that line. But it would have been a whole lot easier for me because as he's taking prize cards, he's like slowly walking closer to me, just even going Burning Darkness Dusclops for game. Like all
Yeah,
I would have
which is a
really
lot
needed to
easier.
do was just like Super Rod back the Klefki, rebench the Klefki, or like make the Pidgeot and then do that. And then I just like sit there and quick search for a card every turn, and his only play that doesn't lose him the game on the spot is kill the Klefki. But he's slowly reaching towards a spot where I don't actually need to get the Dusknoir, and I just need to get the Klefki. So I'll be able to win the game with one.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, I just like thought the Dusknoir was in my discard pile, and even if the Dusknoir was in my discard pile, like I still retreated that Charizard for no reason. I was just like not functioning for whatever reason, and gave him like I removed the onboard threat of the Zard later in the game. Like he had to kill the
Yes.
Zard, but I
Like you
retreated
left it
it.
inactive,
Yeah, so he
and
didn't
then
have to
he
kill
could
my
kill a
Zard.
Terapagos.
Yeah, exactly. So I just did that for no reason, and especially like in a spot against like he's playing like 4 boss 2 counter catchers, 3 boss 2 counter.
He's gonna
Um,
have boss. He
yeah,
had a
he's
lot of
gonna.
cards.
Yeah, his hand was basically his deck, right? Like there is no way that he didn't have like whatever. So I mean, I don't know if I like necessarily like, learned anything from the experience except for the fact that I like need to be more mentally locked in. Like
Hmm.
maybe I need to hydrate better. Maybe I need to eat more food. My quality of play um was not an indication of like how well I knew the matchup or how well I did as a player. I just like literally could not think for 5 minutes straight. I wasn't nervous or anything. I just couldn't think.
Do you think it was like the white noise, or like just how long you were playing for consecutively?
Yeah, I think I was just like tired. I think I was just tired and like I didn't realize it. And then
Hmm.
my brain just mentally just like tapped out. And like the white noise like usually is fine. I was on the feature match twice and the white noise is fine. Um but I think it is harder to like do this kind of like sequencing heavy deck under the white noise than it is to do something else. Like you have to do the 3 or 4 searches in your head before you actually do them to make sure it works.
Yep.
And I found that was a lot harder with the white noise than I've experienced it when I was playing something like Pulsard or um Charizard Pidgeot even, where it's like one decision at a time for the most part. You maybe calculate a couple things, but like this deck was calculating like 4 things at once, and they're not hard calculations to do, but you just have to be able to do them. And I just couldn't. So yeah, I mean, I'll come back with more water, and I'll come back with more food in me. I'll come back. Um, luckily, like the
With
street,
some
this
more sleep.
yeah, if I'll probably end up playing like Terrazard to Seattle.
Yeah.
If I get back on stream, there's not as much of a stream crowd over there, not as much noise. I'll be earlier in the day. I'll be okay. So
There you go. That's a good mindset.
yeah, it was a learning experience for sure. I don't think I'll ever get like a better variance tournament than this. Like probably in my entire life. For me to dodge the 18% Pult Noir the entire event and only hit one Watchtower the entire tournament, and I basically only bricked like once or twice. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'll ever have like this much run good in a tournament again.
Well, if you don't have as much run good, you'll have to just have even more play good, have a better deck.
My
Just
deck
have to
was so
run into
good.
that part.
My deck was
Your
so
deck
good.
was really good also. Your deck was really good. I liked the Sob especially. And then otherwise it was just a good deck.
Yeah, the Sob is nice. It's unfortunate that well, it's not unfortunate, but like the cat's out of the bag, so it'll be like less of a little surprise factor going forward. But I'm sure I'll
Yeah.
still get a few people.
One other thing I wanted to ask you about, and it kind of segues into another topic. When it comes to like you thinking you prized the dust Nor or didn't, do you think the 45-second prize check had any effect on that? Was that really enforced as well? Like I wasn't there. I don't know. Like, yeah, was it
It
enforced properly?
Okay, so I did get a warning actually for doing
You
a
did.
long deck check. I think I so the thing with the 45-second deck check is you're not I'm not really used to what the 45-second time constraint looks like. So usually my
Yeah.
deck search is at like 75 seconds for everything. And then I obviously was condensing it for this tournament. But when you do your deck check, you don't pick up the deck and look at the timer and then say like, "Oh, that's 45 seconds. I'm done with my search." I
Hmm.
mean, like you could, but it's like a lot of mental effort to like calculate what 45 seconds looks like from the time you start your deck search and then check it as your mid search, and you're already doing a bunch of things. So they were enforcing it, but kind of enforcing it in a weird way where it wasn't necessarily just like the 45-second deck search, but also the rest of your actions with the deck search. So when I got a warning, it was because I like did my deck search and then I like was finishing my grab. And then on the following turn, or like the following, I had to like decide on another search because I had the fan call. And then I had to do another search because I had an S ball. So like all of those searches also took like 10 seconds each. And then I got a warning afterward. When I was playing fast, and when I was compartmentalizing deck searches into different deck searches, like if I did like a 30-second deck search, or let's even say I did a 45-second, and then I finished the search, and then I did another deck search, and then I did another deck search that were all like within the frame, it was fine. But because I took like a 1 minute deck search and then I used a lot of time in my other deck searches, that's where like I got called out for. Like I think it's a pretty reasonable way of doing it.
Yeah, I like that actually.
I was happy with it. I was actually very, very happy with it. It was definitely like a learning curve because I've been pretty used to like everyone doing these super long deck searches, and I was playing a deck with 28 Pokemon. So
Yeah.
like, my deck search was like horrible. Takes forever. Um, so it really helped me prioritize what's relevant. So I was able to just kind of crowd out the searches that I needed to do on turn one, and then I would leave certain cards for deck searches turn two, turn three, turn four that I didn't need to know on. So I think it mostly just comes down to progressive prize checking.
Hmm. Instead of checking them all at once.
Yeah. Because like obviously you'd like to just know all six of your prize cards from turn one so you can play at the highest accuracy, but I think even for sake of saving time, just getting most is passable enough. Like you probably don't lose very much accuracy to just prize check, four prizes and only the relevant stuff that you need to know. Like I don't need to know if my second Pidgeot's in my deck or my second Pidgeot. I don't really
Yes.
need to know how many Poffins or Nest Balls I prize. I don't even really need to know if my Ultra Ball is in my deck, even though it's a 1-0. I need to know it's in the deck later in the game, not
Yes, you can
not
knock
ultimately.
towel for it towards the end.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was net. I think it was net positive. It felt good, and I don't really tie all that often when I play these like quicker decks. So like I didn't tie outside of these double IDs at the end here,
Hmm.
and like that felt nice. And I think a big part of that was this 45-second search. But I think plus three turns is also pretty helpful for that. Like this one game here against the Poltzard, I think I would have won. I think I won on turn one, but I think it could have been a spot where I could have won on like turn three. Like having that extra turn was really like nice because it was a close call. Um,
Right.
and then I think for a lot of people, like that extra turn was at least a pretty big difference maker. But the tournament was so we got to the tournament at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. was round one start, so most people were in the venue by
Uh-huh.
8:30. We did not
Yep.
leave after round nine until about 10 p.m., which
Whoa.
was
Yeah. Yeah, that's long. That's
yeah,
long. Nine
yeah,
rounds. That's long.
yeah. It was like excessively long, and I don't know if it's a symptom of the biggest tournaments of all time. I don't know if it's a symptom of the organizers, or if it's a symptom of plus three, maybe a mix of both. But
Right. Probably.
we went from +3 and tournaments taking forever, and then we moved to +1 and tournaments were going super well. And then I just played my first +3 tournament again, and suddenly the tournament takes forever again. So uh I would rather go back to +1 if it's gonna save us, an hour and a half. Because that's what it's been. Like we've been getting out of regionals at 8, 8:30 consistently.
Hmm.
Getting out at 10 is horrible. Um
You
I
can't
only
get food.
I know I
You gotta,
couldn't, like, most places were closed.
yeah. I think I saw a Twitter thread, and I can't remember exactly what was going on, but I think I saw Chris Szymanski. I think it might have been uh, Cliff Dalgard talking about uh, like, oh, +3 is really bad. It takes a long time. And then Chris Szymanski came on and was like, oh, if only we only had +1 turn or something. Did you see that Twitter thread?
Uh I mean, I can see them. I can see Chris saying that. Like I can
It was
100%
kind
see
of
him
funny.
saying that, but I did not see that. But I fully believe you.
And yeah, I kind of had a laugh, and I thought the same. That uh, I don't know. I think the bottom line, they're gonna make the tournament structure what they do, and we'll just play. But
Yeah.
I would like the +1 turn. I think is a little better.
Yeah. Well, the one cool part though, at least if we had any benefits, if you look at the tie rate, it's 13.6%. And let's look at like Toronto. Oh, what? That wasn't as bad as I thought. Toronto's only 14.6 actually. That's only a 1% difference in tie rate. Never mind. This is horrible. Merida must have been more. Yeah, Merida. This is just because it was Mexico.
That's a lot higher. And they're a little slower. Okay.
18.5% here. Get that. Okay, actually, you know what? It's mostly European players, so let's compare it to a different European. I'm gonna pull up Birmingham. Okay, and it's still not that much. It's like a 2% difference. Never mind.
Hmm.
That is not a quality of life improvement worth spending 2 hours on.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Also, I kind of have a hot take with the prize check. I think this might not be true generally, but I think it's actually going to make me slower because I think the uncertainty of not knowing my prizes is just going to make me just move slower over the course of the game. Like, honestly, every time I play an Ultra Ball, I'm going to be taking my 20 seconds to look at my deck for every Ultra Ball. Whereas, like, historically, I've just like done the turn one search, and then my Ultra Balls for the rest of the game are 2 seconds. Like, I just find the card. So, and I think, like, I don't know. We'll have to see, but I'm pretty sure it'll make me slower, which is kind of not what the rule change is supposed to do, but I think that's the result.
I mean, it for the average player is probably going to speed up games. I think
Yeah.
it's only players that are still determined to like get all six in like early stages of the game that it won't change. Because all
Yeah.
that will happen is that their next deck search and their next deck search is going to take longer, right? Like I think that makes sense. But for people that aren't doing all six in like the first two searches anyways, I think it's okay. I do
Hmm.
After having a few tournaments where I tied a couple times though, I did feel pretty good about losing a little bit of accuracy for time.
Finishing games. Yeah.
Yeah, like I had a solid few games in recent memory where definitely could have gotten there. Not so much with the rule change for +3, but just like a player adjustment of price checking a little bit less. And
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the information that I end up checking for is maybe not as useful as I want to think it is. Like I played a lot of games without information of how many candies I prized, or if I prized like Stretcher or Bosses or Rod or Briar or Iono. And
It just didn't come up.
it didn't come up because I just like felt like I could just kind of search for it on the turn before it became like relevant. Played towards it if I knew it was in there, or make the adjustment the turn before if it wasn't in there. And I never check for Iono. I never really check for bosses except for like maybe against Guardy or Mega Absol, because we were kind of okay with not knowing that information off of the rip. I think I think your accuracy isn't as impacted from your pricing if you play a deck with a lot of deck searches. So something like Dragapult, for example, might need to do more deck searching immediately.
Mhm.
Because once you get into like that mid game, you cannot deck search because you shuffle your deck, right? So you
Yeah, so
have
it's
to
a big
know.
deal to know in advance.
But if you're playing like Guardy or Terrazard or something like that, where you have like Vessels and Ultra Balls and Nest Balls, Secret Bots,
Artisans
whatever.
in play most of the game.
Yeah, like there's not really too many spots where you care about deck orders, so you're kind of okay with just ripping a deck search just for the sake of ripping a deck search.
Yeah.
So I think that I think that this will make less eyes in the long term. I think this will be healthy for the game in the long term. I think this will be better for viewership in the long
Oh,
term.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is I think to be fair, like they don't actually have to have deck searching at all. They could literally just let us look at our prize cards and we'd have a 0
Like,
second deck search.
please. Like,
But
please. Yeah.
at least like the 45 seconds will help with people not getting bored of watching stream games. Even for myself, like I don't like watching live streams live. I only will rewatch the live streams in general because
Yep.
I just like do not want to watch a minute and a half. Or if I am, like I'm scrolling on my phone while watching the other stream at the same time, which just feels like toxic.
You're like half brain rotting and half watching Pokemon.
Double brain rotting, man. It's like,
Double brain rot.
yeah, and I'm
No, I
hearing
know what
like
you mean though.
I'm hearing the commentators talk about what a great deck Dragapult versus Gardevoir is for like the 100th time as they're doing their 2-minute deck search.
No, it's brutal. And it's something Pokemon, like, compared to, actually, like, other, like, esports, video games, like the shooters and whatnot, I think it definitely uh, is a struggle for Pokemon as far as growth goes. Like, we've had so much growth over the past 5 years, but imagine how big the game would grow if the game was actually just enjoyable to watch and the pace was good. Um, which
Yeah,
it's not the player's fault. Like, I'm not saying players should be faster on stream because the game it's a very slow, methodical, turn-based game. It's not meant to be fast-paced. So I guess it just is the way it is, to be honest.
it just is the way that it is.
Yes, I think so.
I don't think we're going to be competing for esports awards anytime soon,
No,
unfortunately.
no, we will not be. That's okay. That's all right.
The prizing for
It's
those
pretty
other
good.
esports is like for like I don't know the exact figures, but I know like for actual teams that have infrastructures where they have university teams, like Reagan plays on esports team in Ohio,
Mhm.
I think. Like obviously they have infrastructure where people care about it and people are actually investing money into it. Pokemon is like self-funded and no one
Yeah,
outside of Pokemon really cares about it. And even Pokemon doesn't even really care about the play Pokemon infrastructure that much. It makes up like whatever, like 0.6% of their like revenue, and it's just
yeah,
marketing. I don't know. It is what it is.
yeah. It is. I think that's a good episode. Was there anything else we wanted to cover from EUIC?
No, I think yeah, no, I think
We can also talk meta like next week.
we'll talk a little bit more meta for Seattle, I suppose. I'm
Yeah.
excited to talk about Ascended Heroes, even though they're kind of like dead formats. Orlando, Houston, and then it's just done. But I'm excited to talk about Ascended Heroes because I think that there will be some interesting stuff out of those two tournaments. But we can leave that. There's plenty of other podcasts if you want to see the same top 15 decks that did well at the tournament. Which
You can hear about Absol.
yeah, you can hear about Absol. I'm not really too interested in talking about Absol for the 17th time.
No.
They have a Toad Scroll in their deck. That's
Wow, innovation. It's actually pretty cool.
about it. The Toad
But
Scroll is cool.
yeah.
We'll cut it off there.
All right.
All right. Well,
See you guys.
well, no.
Oh,
Once again, shout out for our intro to Lindsay. That was right there. I want to call back to that.
true.
So again, check that out. I'll leave the links in the description. Go check that out. Take care, guys.
Peace.